Good morning to all my friends. It is Monday. I know it looks a little weird, but you can only see half of me. I wonder why. Maybe because today we are going to be talking about half past the hour. As mentioned before, today we are going to be learning a brand new concept. And that brand new concept that we're learning is half past the hour. Say it with me, half past the hour. Good. So today we are going to continue working with our analog clock. And you guys know that our analog clock is in the shape of a circle. And today, in order for us to figure out what does half past mean, we need to understand two important words. We need to understand whole and we need to understand half. Before we get into our definition box, I just want to quickly break down what our analog clock looks like. So we said that our analog clock has how many numbers on it? Yes, 12 numbers. We have 12 numbers on our analog clock. Today, so that we can understand what half past means, I'm gonna stretch out my analog clock. So instead of writing it in a circle, I'm going to write it as if it was a number line. As if it was a what? Great job. And we know that our number line is written horizontally. How is it written? Awesome job. Horizontally. So I'm going to go and I'm going to draw a line here. And then I'm going to start to input my numbers on my number line. And we are going to explain what does half past mean. To take a moment and to think. I have the numbers 1 through 12 on my number line. Why did I stop at the number 12? And why did I start at the number 1? We'll think about our clock. If we look, I'm back, at our analog clock, what number do we see here? We see the number 1. If we come all the way around, what number do I stop at? The number 12. So knowing that our analog clock has those numbers, why do you think that Mr. Nieves put 1 through 12 on our timeline? Yes, because we want to make sure that we are using the same numbers. Awesome job. Now, today I said that we are focusing on half past. Say it with me, half past. Awesome job. Say it with your arms, half past. Slice the air, half past. Awesome job. So today we want to figure out what is half past. Well, I told you at the beginning that there were two important words that we had to remember. We had to remember the word whole and we had to remember the word half. So my whole number, or all of the numbers that I want to include, are going to be all the way up to the number 12. That's where I'm stopping at. That's all of my numbers. Now I want to slice it in half and get half of 12. Well, what does the word half mean? Yes, it's when you cut it evenly into two slices. So for example, if I were to have a circle and I wanted half of this circle, I would draw a line down the middle. I have one even side here and another even side here. If you guys remember when Mr. Nieves was talking about his older brother, EJ, when he would share his pizza, he wouldn't cut the triangle in half, not equally. He would cut it here. Do I want uneven parts? No, because then Mr. Nieves doesn't get to eat his delicious pizza. Mr. Nieves wanted the pizza to be cut evenly down the middle. So that means that I'm going to have the same number on one side and that exact number on the other. Well, what is half of 12? I can split 12 into two even groups. So let's see. So what I'm going to do to figure that out is I'm going to use my circle and I'm going to put counters. If I put a counter over here, then that means I also need to put a counter, yes, over on this side. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Did I stop at my whole number? Yes, I have 12 in all. Now I want to find out what is half of 12. Well, I will count one side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is half of 12. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to put my line right here. I'm trying to figure out half past. I've learned right now that half of 12 is 6. Remember that important number. 6. What is the number? Show me it with your fingers. The two words that Mr. Nieves said were important are the words whole and half. What were the words? Awesome job. Whole and half. And another word that I'm going to be focusing in on today as well is going to be our minute hand. Whole. Am I talking about a part? Am I talking about some? Or am I talking about the total? Yes, the total. So I would say that the whole is all of the numbers. Now, if the if the whole means all of the numbers, then what can I say half means? If whole is all of the numbers, then we would say that half is some of the numbers, all of the numbers, or an even part of the numbers. Yes, if you said an even part, you are correct. It is an even part because we want to make sure that both sides are equal. Let's remember Mr. Nieves' older brother that he took the bigger piece of the pizza. We don't want to stay hungry when we're talking about half past. And the last one is the minute hand. Last week we learned about the minute hand. And what is the minute hand? Is it the short hand or the long hand? Yes, it is the long hand. Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about using the word half past. So I'm going to put an example on our board. And then when you guys go back to your work, you guys are going to be able to identify time using half past. Now we already identified that half past means an equal part. If you guys remember, rewinding backwards. Ta-da! To the number 12, half of 12 was 6. Okay, this is all important information for us to remember. So here I'm going to put a little miniature clock. And we'll fill in our time very quickly.
12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Now, if we look at our definition box, we have the word half and we have the word minute hand. I want half of 12. Let's think. Last week, we also utilized that word half. When did we use it? Oh, when we were talking about half an hour. So today, do we think that we're going to be using half an hour and our minute hand to show half past? Yes, we are going to be using our minute hand because we want half of the hour. Well, we already identified that half of 12 was Yes, 6. So is my hour hand going to point at the 6? No. Awesome. My minute hand will point at the 6 because I want half of the hour. So I know that today, all of my answers, and anytime that I deal with my clock today, or anytime that I deal with half past, I am going to be using my minute hand at the 6. Because how many minutes is that? Well, let's break it down. We have 5. Yep, don't forget, we're counting by 5s. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm going to tell you something else. 30 is half of 60. And why is the number 60 important? Yes, because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So 6 is half of 12, but more importantly, 30 is half of 60, letting me know that I am halfway in the hour. High five. Half past an hour. Because today, our I can statement is identifying time using half past. So my hour, I know, is 2. Because I see the word half, I know that I got to go to the 30-minute mark because we said that 30 minutes is half of 60. So I want to break that down for my friends who may be a little confused. Whenever I see half, if I'm talking about half to a full hour, that means that I want half of the next hour. Okay? So let's slow that down. I want half of an hour. An hour is 60 minutes. Half of 60 is 30 minutes. So that means that I want the 2 plus another 30 minutes. Am I going to take half from the 2? No. The 2 is my hour that I'm starting at. But then I want to add half more because I'm half past the 2. Say it with me. I'm half past the 2. Right now I walked past the camera. So I'm in front of the camera, but I don't want to go backwards. So when you're talking about past, you are moving forward. You're moving where? Forward. Awesome job. So if I'm moving past something, I'm moving forward. So I want half. So I know I need to get 30 minutes. I'm going to write that 30 minutes there just to remind myself. I have my 2. That is my hour. So I know that's my shorthand because my hour is my shorthand. Okay. So I'm going to break this down counting by 5s. I'm going to count my minutes first. So here I have, count with me, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's an important number. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. And then we know this is 60. But remember, 60 is a brand new hour. So you can either write 0 or you could write 60. It's up to you. So I'm going to start with my half past. I'm going to start with the first section of my question. It says half past something. So if I'm talking about half past an hour, I know that there are 60 minutes in an hour and half of 60 is 30. Awesome. Then I know that the hour that I'm starting at is 2 o'clock. What time? 2 o'clock. So because I'm past 2 o'clock, my hour hand should be in between the 2 and the 3. So my hour hand should be in between the 2 and the 3. Because I'm past 2 o'clock, but I'm not at 3 yet because I'm only halfway there. How much? Halfway there. So I'm halfway to the next hour. I started at 2, but I'm halfway to the next number, which is 3. So that's why my hour hand is going in between the 2 and the 3. Then I know that half of 60 is, yes, 30. So I'm going to put my minute hand, which is the long hand, at my 30. And if I read this says 2:30. So 2:30 is half past 2 o'clock. Because my hour hand is at the 2. And I said I wanted half of the next hour. So half of 60 is 30. Well, let's count and see if we're right. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. This says 2:30. Does this clock look like my clock? Awesome. So I would say that this is half past 2 o'clock. On my board, I have a clock. This clock is showing me a time. I have 3 answers. Is this showing me half past 1 o'clock? Is this showing me half past 2 o'clock? Or is this showing me half past 12 o'clock? Well, I want to help you break this down so that we can figure it out. So right now I want you to answer, is it half past 1 o'clock, half past 2 o'clock, or half past 12 o'clock? Okay, now hold that answer in your head and let's see if you were right. We know that all of them say half past. So in our head, automatically, we should know that half past an hour is how many minutes? That's right, 30 minutes. On our analog clock, we know that the minute hand needs to point at the 12 for 30. No. At the 9 for 30? No. At the 3 for 30? No. I'm so confused. Let's just count and stop guessing. We have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Well, we know that our minute hand is pointing at the correct number. It's pointing at 30 minutes. So I am showing half past something. But now, how do I decide whether it's half past the 1, the 2, or the 3? Well, let's look. If I look at my hour hand and draw a line there, it's not pointing at the 1 or the 2 or the 12. But let's look very closely. What 2 numbers is it between? Is it between the 12 and the 1? No. So I'm going to cross out the 12 because I know that it's not between those 2 numbers. So I know that my answer cannot be C. Well, let me look again. Is it between the 1 and the 2? Yes. So that means that it's going to be one of these answers. Now let's think. I'm halfway past something. So that means that I should be beyond it halfway. I should be moving halfway to the next number. Well, let's stop at 1. If I look at 1, and then I look at where my arrow is, am I half past 1? Am I halfway to 2 o'clock? Yes? Awesome job. Before I circle letter A as my answer, I do want to check letter B. If I go to B, and I go to 2 o'clock, because that's the hour that's here, is my hour hand past the 2? It's not past the 2. So because it is not past the 2, it can't be halfway past it either. So I know that 2 won't be my answer. So what will help me out identify which is the hour, I should always look at the 2 numbers that it is between and then go with the number that it has passed. It passed 1 o'clock. It was between the 1 and the 2, which is why I eliminated the 12. But it only passed the 1, which lets me know that this clock is showing me half past 1 o'clock. My answer would have been letter A. When you guys go back to work individually, you're going to have both of these problem sets. You're going to have to either identify what the clock is showing, or you are going to have to identify how the clock should look depending on the way that the question is written. You guys did an awesome job. Thank you for tuning in. Keep up the good work, and I know you're going to crush it.